What is going on, guys? It's Adam and Marf. Today's show is packed, so stick around. We're going to talk about everything going on around the world, including what we talked about on our news special earlier. Russia and, of course, Ukraine at a very, very hot point. And, of course, China and Taiwan still simmering. We'll be right back right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else that helps with the show, including our wonderful mods. You should always do the research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that keeping in mind, this is a live show, so anything can happen. You can call in tonight. It is a call-in show. The number will be up on the screen momentarily. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. Again, the last night we had so much to cover. We just couldn't do it. So again, 224400 Marf. It is scrolling down beneath me. Again, that is 224400 Marf. Again, that's 6273. And then if you want to follow along today, everything that we are going to say here today is backed up. We don't just say something without backing up where we get it. We actually have a bibliography of sources on our website at marfooglenews.com. Better yet, we have a search so you can go through any of our previous shows and check our previous work. If I mention another show, you can actually go and search that by keywords and find it. Now, this is the show Cease to Exist. It's very easy to find on our website. You just look for today's thumbnail, conflict outages, and, of course, Russia, the world today. And then, of course, once you click on that, you will see that every single link, document, video, tweet, anything that we put here on the show, we are going to add to the website. If there is something added by a caller, it will actually be live added to the show as well. And then on the right side, if you want to support us, PayPal and any of our affiliates are over there. Our Amazon link, if you click that box before you go shop, then it will help us as well and won't cost you a thing. And then there is Too Hot for TV down below, and then our callers will be added right below that. So caller info, if a YouTuber like Jacob Israel or BP Earthwatch or any of these guys call in, we will put their channels in there right there. Let's bring in Dex. Dex is my co-host / internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, oh, man, there is so much going on. Remember, a lot of people aren't getting notifications. Again, a lot of people are now. I don't know why it goes off and on. Again, but you can actually get ours by going to marfooglenews.com. You can also sign up for our push notifications, which will be directly to your phone. For some reason, again, we've had a nicer time this last week, but thank you, everybody, for being here. And if you're new, make sure to go there either way, because then you will not miss a single show. And there's a lot to talk about over the next month. Of course, some even claiming that something's, definitely going down. We never try to put dates or say, hey, this is going to happen or that. We just look at what is being put together. And, of course, we listen to our audience, which we have over 300,000 between two channels. In fact, a lot more than that now. Again, between those channels and in our audience is a lot of smart people, including a lot of military, a lot of anybody from police officers to government officials. I'm sure there is a ton of people that watch this show. Business owners, from your average Joe to your non-average Joe. Lawrence Livermore researchers testing out nuclear blast defense against Earth-threatening asteroids. This is exactly what I've talked about for the last few years. Of course, they have the DART, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, which they just did, or they tried to do recently. I don't know if they relaunched that. I'm off of the top of my head. I don't know if they did. Because I know the first time it was like they missed their window. So I think the second window is coming up. So DART is actually an impactor hitting an asteroid and trying to redirect it. It's exactly what it sounds like. Double asteroid redirection test. And I think they called it double asteroid because it was Didymos. I don't know. Maybe. But either way, they are doing all of these different tests to try to throw off asteroids. I keep telling people that my theory is, and this is my solid, I'm not changing it, is that something is heading our way and they found one. And here's why I say that. It's not because, for one, we've had people say that the money that they're spending on relief efforts for something that is, everybody else thinks is a possibility and might not happen in a million years. Why are they spending money for debris cleanup from basically space stuff in the tune of, basically cleaning up the entire world? Lots of money going into that. Of course, we talked to somebody who audits FEMA documents and other things, and basically they look over the finances to make sure there's nothing fishy. They saw something cross their desk that was just really, really, really kind of scary. We vetted that person beyond what we would do anybody else. We spent 3 hours on the phone with this person, and it was just absolutely eye-opening to hear what she had to say. So again, lots of crazy stuff is going on with space, and a lot of stuff is coming in. We have shown you with facts and statistics that over the last 4 years, sightings of things coming in, and even mass sightings. So we're talking about where, they do the statistics by how, did this event have under 10 people see it, over 10 people see it, over 100 people see it, or over 1,000 people saw it. Every single category of report for asteroids coming in and going whoosh through our atmosphere has gone up. And it's not only gone up, it's quadrupled. So we've shown you that. Those are actual statistics. In fact, I think you can even search that on our website and find the episode exactly where we put those statistics. So what is actually going on? It says it sounds like a scene from a Hollywood sci-fi thriller, but researchers from Lawrence Livermore National Lab have joined with an Air Force team of technologists to test a nuclear blast could be used to deflect an Earth-threatening asteroid. Whether it be Bruce Willis and his crew of oil drillers taking on an asteroid as it approaches Earth in Armageddon, or Tia Leone and her father awaiting a massive tidal wave from an asteroid strike in Deep Impact, Hollywood has been fascinated by the threat from space. It says, Lansing Haran IV, a member of the team, said that the research was focused on the neutron radiation from a nuclear detonation, since neutrons can be more penetrative than X-rays. It says that this means a neutron yield can potentially heat greater amounts of the asteroid's surface material and therefore be more effective in deflecting asteroids than an X-ray yield. So it says that there are two basic options in defeating an asteroid: disruption or deflection. It says disruption is the approach of imparting so much energy to the asteroid that it robustly shattered into many fragments moving at extreme speeds. One of the downsides of that, of course, is that would break it up into multiple small pieces, and if they're big enough, that will make more problems for Earth, right? At least this is what, according to the scientists, right? It says past work found that more than 99.5% of the original asteroid's mass would miss the Earth, he said. This disruption path would likely be considered if the warning time before an asteroid impact is short and or the asteroid is relatively small. So that's if it's small, and it can break it up into even smaller, where those pieces will be small enough to either burn up or to not do massive damage. But we're talking about the size of a car can do massive damage. In fact, the one that was over Russia in 2013, Shablinsk, that did damage for miles away as far as shattered glass and sent a boom all out from every direction. Many people were injured, and I want to say a couple thousand were injured, and a few dozen have perished from that event. So very, very crazy. It says deflection is the gentler approach that involves imparting a smaller amount of energy to the asteroid, keeping the object intact, and pushing it onto a slightly different orbit with a slightly changed speed. How they describe it is kind of like two cars at an intersection. Now, Earth is one of the cars, and the asteroid is another. At some point, if the stoplights went out and two cars end up in that intersection at the same time, they're going to crash. But what they want to do is to try to slow down either the asteroid so the Earth can pass, or try to slow, they can't slow Earth, so either slow it down so it misses. So again, that's what they're worried about. Why did they pull on Elon Musk years ago and have him, as part of their asteroid defense team? And they talked about it at great lengths. And then all of a sudden, after a couple events, we saw some weird stuff happen. Like Sunspot Observatory was shut down because of a crazy thing that ended up being, just an absolute crazy story. After that, all of a sudden we had Space Force. All of a sudden we had this, urge to get to Mars, and all of a sudden they started telling the public that, hey, we're going off Earth. All of a sudden, every country was trying to get to the moon. All these different countries were sending sperm samples and backup Noah arcs to the moon. Norway started storing all of these seeds in the mountains and basically having a Noah's Ark on Earth deep down in the mountains. It's just a really weird scenario where it's their actions reflect kind of like we did know about something. And my question to everybody, and it repeatedly gets answered in the same fashion, is would they tell us if they knew? Would, any of the big telescopes, would they call the news first? Or do you think that they would have to call the governments first? And if they called the governments and says, hey, I found one, do you think the government's going to go, yes, we found one, it's not going to hit us for 4 years, no panic, don't panic, we're trying to figure out a way to do it? Or do you think that they wouldn't tell us and then try to find a way to stop it first? My theory is the latter half, and again, it seems like they're paying a whole lot of money all of a sudden in the last 4 years to asteroid deflection. It's kind of like common sense to me. Why are they doing all these missions? Why are they doing OSIRIS-REx? Why are they doing Hayabusa? Of course, Japan is smashing and making impact holes into asteroids. If all these countries find it so important that they keep doing these asteroid redirection tests, then how are people not getting it that maybe, just maybe, there might be something on its way here? And would all the countries know that? Are they going, hey, well, we only got 20 years left, so let's try to take what we can? Maybe that's why everybody's kind of triggering fire hot right now. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the chat below. I'll get over to that as well. If you want to call in with your opinion, 224-400-MARF. Again, that's 224-400-MARF or 224-400-6273. Let's see here. And then let me just finish this last sentence. It says, over time, with many years prior to impact, even a minuscule velocity change could add up to an Earth missing distance, Horan said. Deflection might generally be preferred as a safer and more elegant option. If we have sufficient warning and to enact this sort of response, this way, this is why our work is focused on deflection. Maybe because they found something that's 10 years out and now they are trying to deflect it. One other thing is if you remember last year, there was not Apophis, but the other one. Dex, do you remember the one that, if you guys can remember the one that was getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter? Atlas. That's right. Atlas. Atlas was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden they said, just from like a Monday to a Tuesday, it started breaking up. So this thing that's been out there, people guess billions of years or trillions of years, we don't know, just all of a sudden broke up when we started watching it from Tuesday to Wednesday. And Dex ended up doing the actual math on the distance from it and how long it would take a U.S. or a regular rocket at the speeds they say our rockets go, and how long it would take to get to that distance. And it was about 3 years. We went back and we did the math on how long it would have to get there and when it broke up. And when we went back, we found that there were 3 launches, all secret launches that did not have, it had a classified payload, all done by SpaceX and the government. And all 3 of these were not a satellite, or at least they didn't declare what the load was. So we thought, man, was Atlas one of the first times where we actually deflected it or blew it into different pieces or knocked it off of course? If you remember that story, it said that it was getting so bright that it would be brighter than the moon in just a couple weeks from when all of a sudden it just broke up. It seemed really, really weird. And it was like they were much more worried about it than they said. And then once it worked, all of a sudden it was all good. And no, it broke apart and all of this. It was weird. It's billions of years old, and we just happen to be watching the reflection of what is light years away or however many thousands of miles away, and we happen to see it break up. That's weird. Or did some third, entity step in and destroy it because it had possibility of taking us out? Very, very weird. All right, now we're going to get into some tough stuff. We always try to start off with something a little bit to get you warmed up. I'm going to go over to the chat, and I do want to thank everybody new over on DLive. Thank you, Zippy Moons, for the massive support. Let's see here. Too hot to handle, too cool to hold. You call Marfoogle and get control. Sing it, Team Humanity. Zippy Moons, you are awesome. And by the way, you make me miss Susan Donahue when you do that. Brian Susmowich says, what's up, Foogle fam? Marf and Dex caught the live show. God bless you guys. Keep it up. Ski Ball, thank you so much for your support as well. And then, of course, we've got Black Labs says, can't stay for the live show, but we'll catch the replay in the morning. Coffee and my Marf news. Well, thank you, and thank you. And you guys are awesome. Sunny Beach Girl, Earth Observer, Maui Racing Realtor. I appreciate all of you guys. And then from Canada says, hey, Marf and fam, glad to catch a live, says Northern Tiger. Buy MF, Polar and Stuff. YT says, much love to the Foogle fam, Adam Dex and mods. Much love from Samson in the Carolinas. Light and love. Well, shout out to the Carolinas. If you guys are out there, thank you so much. Peter Souza and Short Circuit. My vid from a couple minutes ago puts nails in the coffin. Thanks, Adam Dex, Foogle fam. You got blessings for helping. No problem, Short Circuit. And then Iran Platt and Kishara. Thank you for joining me over on Patreon overnight. I do appreciate that. It says I, and again, I is this, and is the other. And I'll show you that if it pops up. But if you start to watch the show and you understand why and what we call everything, you'll start getting it so soon that you'll go, oh, they're not even, you don't even think about it anymore. I've seen people comment and they know to comment with it like that. It says, I vows to respond to Vessel Saviz incident once origins of attack investigated. So basically they're saying if it does come back the way they think it will come back, then they're going to respond. It says this is, of course, out of Moscow, and we always try to tell you like where this is coming from. We look at world news. We don't just look at the U.S. and our little, section. We try to go outside of stuff, go into VPNs and get at news from everywhere. This is, of course, Sputnik, so this is out of Moscow. It says, I will respond to a recent attack on its ship Saviz in the Red Sea. Once uncovers the attack source that the I Armed Forces spokesman Major General Abu al-Fadul al-Shakari said that we need to ascertain the source of this incident. If we uncover the source of the attack on the ship, we will definitely respond. We will never be silent in any case. The ship was targeted, and now different things may have happened to the ship. But we cannot take a decision on what we are going to do until after our investigations have concluded with utmost accuracy, the spokesman said. Which is really weird because we've already gotten tweets and official tweets that basically say that Ray L said that it was them. They have claimed responsibility for it. I don't understand some of this world of like how, ISIS or whatever, they'll claim something and then somebody else will claim it. It's kind of like those people that want to be, a murderer, and they go in and they say, I committed this thing, and they're not actually the murderer. Like, what would you do that for? Some people are weird like that. They want fame or they want something. I don't get it. It's crazy. In this case, I think, they probably did do it. Who knows? It says I is considering its traditional adversaries, the United States, and of course that is that, as well as their allies in the Middle East, to be linked to the incident, he said. Earlier this week, Bahia channel reported citing sources that an I cargo ship belonging to the Revolutionary Guard Corps had been attacked off the coast of Eritrea in the Red Sea. The incident on the ship occurred due to the explosion of mines, limpet mines, planted on the hull. It says Iranian news agency Tasnim reported, citing sources, over past several years, Saviz has engaged in the observation and support of I warships, which in turn were sent to escort merchant ships, which some of those routes are really nasty, especially the ones outside of Africa with Somalia. Now, one thing, too, this was outside of Eritrea. Now, another thing about this is the limpet mines. We've seen obvious kind of Fantastic Freddy's happen with these limpet mine things. In fact, there was an event like a year and a half ago where they supposedly showed a video of a small boat going up and clamping something onto a boat, and then it was like, psh. And then a lot of people questioned that because the footage was grainy and it looked like it was like painted. Just weird, considering, what a lot of people have waited for to happen. Ed Brown, thanks for the support. Scott Dixon, I appreciate you being the last one out last night. What do you think about the ship? Do you think it was, do you think they rolled up silently on tiny boats and put limpet mines on or under or what? I don't know. And then Mr. B to unveil actions on boom booms, including new A and F boss. It says President JB is preparing to unveil a series of executive actions aimed at addressing the violence and, of course, delivering his first major action on GC since taking office. Mr. B on Thursday will also nominate David Chipman, a former federal agent and advisor at the GC Group, Giffords, to be director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. It says, according to senior B administration officials. B has faced increasing pressure to act on GC, and of course, we're talking about boom control, after a spat of mass boom booms across the U.S. in recent weeks, but the White House has repeatedly emphasized the need for legislative action on these boom booms. So it's like clockwork. I won't give my opinion on this. I'll let you guys form your own opinion on this. I know that there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about this, and for good reason. I'll just say 3 words. Shall not infringe. Does not mean infringe a little bit. And then, of course, you can go over to the website, marfooglenews.com, and check out the rest yourself. Again, leave it up to you. Now, we've given you reason and we've given you the stats on why we have actually worked with EMP Shield. I hope that everyone takes EMP and solar flares seriously, because solar flares is a guaranteed. It's just a matter of time, not a when, or not a if, but when. And then, of course, an EMP is becoming more and more likely. Experts even say that it is the most likely time in history that we would ever have an actual EMP attempt. So again, you can protect yourself against this, and personally, I think that everybody and the entire country should make this a rule to have these, especially in public buildings and things that are, critical infrastructure, but they're not there yet. The country is not prepared for an EMP. Again, our infrastructure is like a 2 out of 10 in preparedness, which is absolutely terrifying considering how many countries are saying that they want to do this. So you can also protect your own stuff. And again, these are devices that ground the signal before it fries your device, whether that device be your home, your car. Again, the car device takes 5 minutes to put in. Your ham radio, your solar system, your generator. There is a device pretty much for everything. If you go to marfooglenews.com/EMP, you can go to EMP Shield, which again is government tested. It is military tested, Keystone tested. DHS, DOD have contracted with them, and now they are officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to get $50 off, plus their big sale right now. It is the best sale since last Black Friday. All right, thank you guys. A small part of that goes to help us, and that helps us expand. So thank you so much for doing so in advance. But if not, go around if you have to. I would highly recommend it. All right, Dex, if we have a caller, chime in. I'm going to pop open the screen.
Yeah, we
here.
do.
Okay, so it looks like we have, let me see here. Just take a second to load. Major Lee Stoned, first-time caller, and wants to talk about a remarkable find. Okay, cool. calling from Seattle, Washington. All right, Majorly Stoned, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Foogle fam. How's it going?
Doing fantastic. So what's going on?
Good. So I shot Dex over a news article. I don't know if you got it pulled up there.
I will load it up right now.
But there's a pretty remarkable discovery over in the one really kind of major eye country over there in the ME. It's the first Dead Sea Scrolls found in over 60 years, and they found them in this cave. They call it the Cave of Horrors, for what the Romans did during like the second, like right around the turn of I think it was just before 100 AD, right around that time. Anyways, the Romans were kind of just massacring these people, and a bunch of people hid up in these caves. Anyways, they were excavating and they found some human remains that are very, very, very old, as well as I guess like the oldest basket that they know of that's in existence. Basket's like they estimate it's like 10,000 years old or something ridiculous. So that's all cool, but most significant in my mind were the two passages that they found, excerpts from that are part of these Dead Sea Scrolls. And I think I know a lot of the listeners, the Foogle fam, with what their beliefs are, with where we are, kind of on the timeline, so to speak. I felt like they were really relevant. And I'd like to read them real quick if I could.
Go ahead.
Just a couple quick passages. Cool. So the first one is from Zechariah 8, 16, and 17. It says, "These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another. Render in your gates judgments that are true and make for peace. Do not devise evil in your hearts against one another, and love no false oath, for all these things I hate, declares the Lord." Fairly relevant, right?
Wow.
The second one, the second one is, so that was the warning, right? And so the next is kind of the threat, I guess. It's from Nahum. It's chapter 1, verse 5 and 6. It says, "The mountains quake before him. The hills melt. The earth heaves before him. The world and all who dwell in it. Who can stand before his indignation? Who can endure the heat of his anger? His wrath is poured out like fire, and the rocks are broken into pieces by him." So it's kind of relevant again, like I said.
I mean, are you kidding? I mean, you know what is very intense right now is everywhere I look, people say it is close to the second coming and that he is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so much more than ever before. I mean, we've had times in the past where we've talked about conflicts and things like this, but never have we seen so many people feel like it is the second coming of Jesus and that, the man is coming back. Never before. Look at my comments. I mean, look at other people's comments. Look at any channel that talks about any kind of thing with modern events and people say he's coming soon, get ready. Isn't that weird? And then this just happens to be found.
Yeah, what are the odds? The sheer odds of all of these signs lining up so perfectly right around the same time frame, things that have either never happened before in the history of the world or that have happened, once here, once there, or whatever, but they were kind of random events and not associated with all of these other things taking place too. And for everything to just line up so perfectly like it has, I mean, it's obvious in my mind. It's obvious to me. And, it's throughout the whole book of Revelation, all of the things that are kind of poured out onto the world. The one thing he keeps saying is, like these things happen and you'll know what's going on. You'll know that it's God that's doing this. This is a God thing and you'll know, but the people will still rebel and not, they'll look for any other thing to blame or to pin it on essentially. And they won't repent and they won't turn their lives around. And so with all of this, with all of the channels and all of the people that are now talking about it and being like, hey, heads up, this is what's going on. is all the more reason that people, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in the world, I mean, you'll have a good idea what's going on when it happens.
Well,
whether or not you want to admit it.
And again, there's some people that say, "Oh, they've been saying that for a long time." I understand your view on that, but if you have not, see, we cover this stuff every day, and we look at everything that is happening. We look at all the discoveries, and we look at things. We did cover the Dead Sea Scrolls a week ago or whatever it was, but I did not know that those inscriptions were inside that. But when you cover all of these things, and when you know people like Jacob Israel has been putting together the signs for a while, and he actually put together the twins and all of the astrological signs. And I guess once you see not just making things up and going, oh, it's because of this and this lines up with this, it's actually taking stuff from back then and seeing it line up. I did watch a pastor that talked just recently about the end times, and the end times on how they used the past, that the past was this ending cycle, that Revelations was happening and has already happened, or the 7 trumpets already happened. And I think he put it really great. And if you guys want to see this video, I will link it to you. It's a great channel, but the guy put it in such a great way. He's a pastor, and he basically said that it is that it will happen in the final days. So you can't say that, some of the plagues or any of the signs have happened previously. They would either have to happen at the very end. So all of the trumpets all at once. So you wouldn't be able to say that 1940s, one of the trumpets was done, 1960s, another trumpet, and now we're on the 5th trumpet, because they said how the writing of it was at the very, very, very end. So I just thought that was really fascinating. Yeah, I don't put it as good as he did.
Yeah, and first of all, I love Jacob Israel. I've been watching his videos for a long time. Not as long as I've been watching your videos, but still, great stuff there. And it's oh shoot, what was I going to say? Oh, it's going to be like a time that there's never ever been a time like the end. It'll be like no other time before it, and it'll be like no other time after it. So it will definitely be unique in that sense. And if these aren't unique times, then I don't know when, what you would call unique.
Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in again, Majorly Stoned, and I appreciate you. And I every time I saw your name, I cracked up. But thank you so much for the very surprisingly awesome call. I appreciate you.
Of course, man. My pleasure. Thank you. And
all right.
Love to all.
It's your first time call. Don't make it your last, okay? Okay, so I wanted to show you this video because he is a respected person in the field, and the way he puts it, I think that anybody, even if they thought otherwise, would at least be open-minded to what he was saying about it. Because of the way he puts it and the way he shows the scripture and the way he actually puts it there. FAA, okay. And you guys can tell me, I just found this gentleman and I saw maybe 2 or 3 videos. Not going to play his stuff because I don't have permission to. But who knows? Maybe we'll try to grab him for an interview. It was this. It was FAI Studios, and he's got like a high quality. I mean, what stuck out to me is that he was somebody who was actually doing like really high quality video. But this I don't think is the same gentleman. It's the same studio, and they have this video, and I'm telling you, I was like, that's a really great way to put it. Because look at all the things that are actually happening. I don't think it's all kooky. I think that we are really seeing some of this happen. Okay, this is the video. This is it right here. Coming world conflict and global economic collapse. This video is the one I was talking about. And at least the way he put it, I was very intrigued by. Honeybee says, I just found his channel too. I've been watching at least 3 or 4 now, and thought it was pretty amazing the way he put it, because he did back it up. He backed it up with how they put it, and it does make sense. All right, let's see here. And then we have Russia-Ukraine days from conflict as Vladimir Putin puts 100,000 troops on the border. 100,000 is a whole lot. That is a whole lot. Remember, for a long time in the Middle East, we had 8,000 troops. 8,000. This is more than 10 times that amount on their border. That does not include all of the equipment, all of the tanks, all of the helicopters. The Russia-Ukraine crisis could be days from exploding into a conflict, it is feared. UK senior commanders and Whitehall officials are on high alert. Not to mention, U.S. is on the highest alert that it's been on since 2001. This is what is being said. And it says that officials are on high alert and monitoring the situation with growing concern. A source told the Mirror, it says Moscow has amassed close to 100,000 troops at the Flashpoint border, and senior Ukraine military sources fear its war planners may have wrong-footed them. Now remember, in my video, if you have not seen it, go over to Marfoogle News and watch that short video. If you want to share something with them instead of sharing the show, share them that video. What Ukraine is doing is they are saying, please fast track our NATO membership. We need it right now. And they are desperately pleading, saying, hey, this could take years for us to get into NATO. We need it now. Because they need more allies and they need more backup. Because they are afraid. Or they just don't want to do this and, they don't want to go to this conflict. And NATO might be able to, put off Putin for a while. It says Putin's Navy on Thursday piled on further pressure in an embattled Kiev by announcing the deployment of a war-fighting fleet towards Ukraine arriving within days. So 100,000 troops and a war-fighting fleet. Not to mention they just did 103 missile commanders there. I mean, it's every day we have seen them deploy more and more and more. We're talking about huge units, huge equipment, huge artillery, and they've already broke the ceasefire. They've already shelled over the border, according to Ukraine, as of 7 a.m. this morning. It says a source said aggressive Russian troop movements towards the border have caused a great deal of concern within the Ministry of Defense. The situation is being monitored constantly, and I would definitely describe this as a growing crisis. It is feared that within days, more than 95,000 assault troops, backed by tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, and even thermobaric rocket batteries, will be ready to invade. Tens of thousands of Ukrainian troops, including reservists, have been called up to the border, and U.S. advisors are believed to be in country, according to sources. Those sneaky U.S. advisors in there, huh? American intelligence assessments grade the threat of a major Russia-Ukraine flare-up as, I love how they put this too, potential imminent crisis. Their highest level. What I don't understand is how it is a potential imminent. What I think is it's imminent. I wonder if that means like it is imminent, but the potential it's potential, but it's imminent. Something's going to go down, but will we be involved? We don't know if it's going to be a crisis for them, for UK. So for the people thinking, oh, it's just fear mongering. What more do you need? Do you need a nuke to go off to be like, you're just fear mongering? It was only one nuke. Oh, come on. It was only 10,000 losses. We lost more in. Oh, that is a lot. Fearmonger. Fearmonger. A fearmonger. 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 Sorry. You get my point. 5 ceasefire violations in eastern Ukraine. 1 soldier killed. The enemy opened fire from 122 millimeter artillery, 82 millimeter mortars, and small arms near Pisky and Vyadayan in the Sea of the Azov area. The press center of JFO headquarters informs. It says a member of the joint forces received fatal injuries, and that was in, of course, the enemy shelling. In the area of Vodian, the invaders shelled civilian infrastructures using artillery. Ukrainian defenders fired back in response to Russian occupation troop attacks. Over the past day, April 7th, the armed formations of the Russian Federation violated the ceasefire 7 times. All of the attacks were launched in the area of responsibility of the Operational and Tactical Group East. In particular, Russian occupiers fired 82 millimeter and 120 millimeter mortars outside of Pisky and Opt. And it says that different grenade launchers and small arms near Hanut, Sharank, and Talakivka. It says a Ukrainian soldier received a shrapnel wound and was promptly taken to the medical facility. Now, people can still continue to say that this is, blank time propaganda. But at this point, if something pops off, I just have to reiterate. 1, people won't care. Nobody will care that we've been talking about this, or other people have been talking about this for 2 years. It'll just happen, and then everybody forgets that, hey, we prepared you for this. We told you it. This could affect everyone. This could affect the entire planet. Who knows? Maybe the entire planet is going to be affected down the road, and that is why this is all happening. Maybe everything ties together. But I certainly think that these two are allies, and it just so happens that they're both going further than they have ever gone before in invading the 2 places they want. Why would they do that? Well, maybe if they go, hey, we're about to start this whole world conflict thing, who do you want to take out? Oh, well, I want to take Ukraine. Who do you want? Well, we want to get Taiwan back. Well, if we're going to do it, let's do it big. And let's plan everything at the same time. At the same time, U.S. and U.K., they've put all their money since 3 years ago into Russia and China. They've been at this front for a long time, and now they have moved our artillery to Alaska. They're ordering frozen military vehicles. All of a sudden, contract for 200 snow vehicles. We are now making more ships, keeping more ships out of retirement. We are pulling out old planes that do not have EMP-sensitive materials and EMP-sensitive equipment. We are pulling old planes out of museums. Did you know that? We are training all of our military to fight in the dark. We ordered more night vision goggles than anywhere else on the planet between UK and here in the US. They are training. Every base has a side wing of basically fighting in the dark, fighting in urban landscapes training. If you're military and if you were ever part of that, love a call in from you. Item 09, thank you for suggesting that. Yes, if the screen is buffering at all over on DLive, I always exit out and come back in. 1B, it's Rice and Mama, and then it says, what is a fantastic Freddy? Puzak69 says, make sure to let them know. It's a false. Ends with AG. Satan controls the military, says Believer 7777. Johnny Doom is here. We've got Sir Budrick. Christina Faith, the actual word rapture. No plucking up and escape are in there many times. That's what somebody said. Where the hell is the 3 days of darkness? There you go. Yes, people taking naps is a good thing. Kelly sure is. Joe Mata. Let's see here. Winton Dupree, Lisa R. Hall, thank you for putting out the number. You can call in at 224400 Again, this is nuts. Donbass escalation would be the beginning of the end for Ukraine. This is, of course, the Putin aide saying that any kind of action here would be the point of no return. It says the outbreak of major hostilities in eastern Ukraine would mark the beginning of the end for Kiev, a top Kremlin official warned on Thursday, as alarm continues to grow over troop buildup in the region. It says, quote, I support the assessments that also exist inside Ukraine that the beginning of hostilities is beginning of the end of Ukraine. That was Putin's deputy chief of staff, Dmitry Kozak. It says it's a self-inflicted wound, a shot not in the leg, but in the face. What a solid, savage way to say that. The state-run RIA Novosti news agency quoted Kozak, the Kremlin's point man on relations with Ukraine and pro-Russia separatists, as saying at online talks. It says a senior Putin aide added that Moscow would have to come to the defense of Russian citizens in eastern Ukraine, depending on the scale of the fire. Says Kozak's warning follow Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's recent appeal for support from Kiev's Western allies and visit to the front line amid Russian buildup near its border. Military analysts say that Russia has amassed the largest concentration of forces near the Ukrainian border since the deadly conflict between Ukrainian forces and pro-Russian separatists first broke out in 2014. Russia is widely believed to provide the backing for the separatists, which the Kremlin has repeatedly denied. Very complicated scenario there. And then Ukraine pressures NATO for membership as Russia amasses troop at the border. So this actually goes into detail of what they are doing. They are asking for this, for them to hasten the membership time to go get right in. So big deal there. N95 hero. What in the world? Says it's not 100,000 troops, but thank you, N95 hero. Your better halves and the mods for everything you do. Oh, so you're not bringing us 100,000 troops. Well, thank you. Again, I don't know if you're saying it's not 100,000 troops that are amassing, but we do have the backup on that. Or you're saying I'm not bringing you 100,000 troops. I don't know. But thank you for the Ninjet N95 hero. That is much appreciated. Again, that is giant and huge. The highest compliment you can bestow on somebody at DLive. So thank you so much. And then SC passed a bill today. You can open carry without a permit. South Carolina, El Luna 3377. Yes, that is pretty crazy. I think there's another one that just passed today as well. Stormy7572, thank you so much. Ski Ball, and of course, Brian Susmalich. What's up, Foogle fam? Marf and Dex caught the live show. God bless you guys. And then, again, thank you, everybody. And then, of course, N95 hero. Massive, massive, massive. That is amazing. Thank you. And N95. That just really, thank you for going above and beyond. Especially when we're talking about this really down stuff. Let's see here. We've got our next call lined up. Again, if you want to call in, 224-400-MARF. If you have not protected yourself against cyber threats, you can do so with NordVPN and hide your IP address. Not only that, you can get extra shows in different countries if you put yourself somewhere else. I would highly recommend getting it. You can actually use it up on 6 devices for one price. That means your computer, your kid's computer, your wife's computer, your husband's computer. It doesn't matter how many people are in there. One account covers them all. Marfooglenews.com/VPN. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/VPN. You'll get upwards of 70% off, or I believe buy 2 and get 1 free years. All right, and then let's see here. We have Bear Claws up in the house, HW Liberty, Followers of the Way, Australia, Andrew Adams, Rose Shomolian says hello from San Mateo, California. By the way, in San Mateo, there's a very special psychologist out there, and I just really appreciate you for paying more attention than my sister to my health. Just kidding, but not. Thank you for being an awesome person. All right, let's see here. Dex, let's get on. Rose, first-time caller, saw egg-shaped object back in 1997.
Hi.
Hi, Rose. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. So what did you see?
I just wanted to call in and talk about something that I saw back in, like, 96, 97. My cousin had lived a few blocks from me and picked me up frantic and said, you have to see, and got in the car, flew up the street. And where she lived at the bottom of the street was like a park that had water, the bay. And above the water, about 20, 30 feet, was hovering this humongous, but it was like the shape of like kind of like an egg. And it had lights, green, blue, purple, yellow, all over it. And it was, and when I say big, like I'm talking huge. And I called 911. I freaked out. I so called 911 and was like, there's something hovering over the bay. And the 911 operator said to me that it was the blimp. And I said, since when does the blimp have all these colored lights? And I started naming them. And I'm like, when does it have blue, purple, yellow, green, and purple lights all over it? It doesn't. And it's just hovering. And I hung up. Nothing happened, but me and my cousin stood there for a good 30 minutes just, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? Yeah, that was kind of wild.
Now you said it. You said that they said it was a blimp. Why would there be a blimp somewhere? I mean, what was their excuse?
And hovering 20, 30 feet above water.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't think they do that.
Yeah, I don't think they do that either.
Yeah, that is weird.
But that was my first sighting, I guess you could say. And like I said, that was like 96, 97. And then I saw, me and my daughter were driving. This only happened a couple months ago. We were driving through two different places. And we looked up and there was this silver sphere just floating. And she looked at me and she goes, do you see that? And I looked up and I went, what the hell is that? And then literally it poofed, it disappeared. Like literally poof, disappeared.
Well, I to be honest,
that was a little strange.
I give everybody the benefit of the doubt because of what I've seen and what my wife saw. My wife is the most skeptical person you'll ever meet as far as it comes to, UFOs and things, or at least she was. She was until we were out of all places, I believe we pulled over at a Burger King parking lot, and this thing flew over us, and it was slow, and it shined its light down. Imagine seeing a star, a regular star that, you go, okay, now it's a satellite, and then a light comes down on you and shines the whole parking lot. It was so spooky. It was during the red moon about 3-4 years ago. And ever since then, she there was no sound, no nothing. It just shined its light down. It was so creepy. So, again, there's people that are just completely skeptical, but once you see something you can't explain, then at least you go, okay, well, maybe there's something out there that I don't know about.
I wanted to say that I guess it's 3-4 years ago, I was on a platform and I come across, imagine seeing, how do I explain this? You're from space, you're in space and you're looking down at the circle and you're close enough to where you can see land and the water and the clouds. But there's boomers flying everywhere. from all over the place.
And
then it
you're saying
disappears, and
jets.
I've never been able to find it.
You're saying jets, right? By boomers?
No, boomers.
Like nukes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know if I could say that word, so I'm just trying to be
we
really
can say
cautious on how I
nukes.
say
We,
it.
we can say nukes. We just can't say the second part to it. A nuclear, then that's when you say boomer.
Gotcha.
So yeah. No, I get you. That's creepy. Well, hey, thank you for
That
calling
was
in.
very creepy.
Thank you for sharing your experience today, Rose. And again, it's your first time call. I encourage first time callers every single show, and I hope you guys call back again. We need fresh people every single day. So thank you so much for sharing your great call. I appreciate you, and you have a wonderful night. Okay.
You too.
All right. Bye, Rose. And that was, again, I don't know if you caught that, but she said it was an egg-shaped object. I never hear that kind of report. Everybody says it was a disc or some other kind of shape. By the way, thank you so much. During the show, Richard M. went over to PayPal. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alice L., thank you as well for your support over there. Alice, that was Alice with an ICE, and then Alice with a YCE. Before television, there was radio. Thank you for your support over there. And then Deborah S., Survival Living, yesterday went over. Not much, but I always try to support Survival Living. You don't have to do that. Gone Girl 777, thank you so much for your massive support. Again, much thanks. Again, Pam S., love you guys. Thank you so much. Carl J. Vision, again, thank you. Kelly B. and Woodsmere, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, and let's see here. By the way, N95 here, you are number 50 on the Ninjet list. That is cool. The lifetime of our D Live, you just hit number 50. All right, let's see here. We need more calls. We have one more line up for the last call. We have 2 calls left. You have 1 call left. So if you want to be a first-time caller today, this would be the time to call in right now. All right, we're going to go back to the news, which we have some pretty crazy stuff. Okay, U.S. considering sending more ships to Black Sea amid Russia-Ukraine tensions. This is exactly where we get involved, and considering sending could be a flip in just, a day's time. The United States is considering sending ships into the Black Sea in the next few weeks in a show of support for Ukraine amid Russia's increased military presence. It says on the Ukraine's eastern border. So remember, Russia wants Ukraine's coastline, but on top of that, they want to be able to put their pipelines through. And actually, Foogle Fam kind of helped us with that the other night. There was about 10 people that all said, why does Russia want Ukraine? And you guys all came up with really great backed up responses. So another thing is a lot of people think that, as I said earlier, they think that they are trying to get into NATO because Russia's in. I saw multiple comments about this. Oh, they're trying to get into NATO because then they'll be with Russia on the same group. Russia's not in NATO. NATO would be the backup for them. The UN, Russia, and all these people are all in the same thing, but that's separate. That's not NATO. NATO troops. NATO would go in and protect certain countries. Will also help protect countries that don't have nukes and things like that. But with Ukraine is an ally of the U.S. Now, if you know this, you're thinking like, of course, we all know this. But some people don't. They don't understand that Russia is our adversary and Ukraine is our ally. So we would have to step in, technically, if we're under that. So, that's why they're trying to get into NATO, because then they will not only have U.S., but they'll have that whole list I read off earlier. Norway, Czech, France, all of the names on that list, Greece, all of those extra allies that would be a part of that. So this is getting a lot bigger, a lot faster. I mean, we're seeing every 24 hours, this is getting worse. So that's why I've been doing daily updates on this. I think that this is either going to go all the way or it could fizzle out. Either way, I hope that everybody ends up staying tuned for it, because don't get hit in the side of the head, that's for sure. Darcy Hook, thank you so much. GTTQ, I don't know where that is from, but thank you from whatever country that may be. I will have to look that up. Thank you so much. And you can always write a message there. Bad Wolf GG saw the same thing in 97, slowly passing over treetops where I used to live. Bad Wolf, give us a call sometime, especially on our next Unidentified. Winston Dupree, or Winton Dupree, says the world ain't going to depopulate itself. Yeah, that's creepy. The Globalist channel says Apple to allow users to block apps from tracking. Yes, that was a big thing. We actually covered when they said that, and we didn't know if it was going to be for sure. And then Northern Tiger, all your shows were awesome. Keep us informed. I hope you mean are awesome and not were. But thank you, Northern Tiger. I know what you mean. Humble Hashmaker, appreciate the $17.76 donation. I see what you did there. And then Craig Mumbo, Russia is not the bad guy. They're just protecting their allies. Remember the violent overthrow in Ukraine. Craig Mumbo, again, we try not to say that either one is the bad guy. In fact, I don't think I ever really say either one is bad guy, just what they're actually doing. And then Becky D, yeah, and I've never said Vladimir Zelensky or whatever his name is a good guy. But Putin's no angel, that's for sure. He got into office through some really crazy stuff. Becky D, thank you so much. Amy Joe 303 Chapman, thank you. And Amy Joe, again, thank you. Christian Moore, would you rather have not seen Asteroid take us out or nuclear coming event and dealing with the panic that would truly happen? Love all Foogles. That's a good question, Christian. So would you rather not? In fact, we'll give an answer one or two. Would you rather have not seen an asteroid coming and it takes you out, or a nuclear coming event and know that it's coming and deal with the panic that comes along with that? Would you rather the nuke hit or the asteroid hit and knock all of us out without knowing? Press 1. If you would rather know about it and have a chance, or, chance to flee and deal with all the people going crazy, press 2. That's a good question. How would you handle that, folks? All right, so we might be heading over to the Black Sea. We'll check on that. And then Chinese professor says CCP accelerating plans to replace American dollar. This is every sign you need to see that these two countries are going to do what they are going to do. Thing is, China wants to be number 1. They're not happy with being number 2, and they've said it many times. Now, Dex, I'm going to pull you in on this because you actually know a lot about as far as like currency and the tech world and how this would even be attainable. I know that you're dealing with the phones, so please pop in when you can. And then after that, again, we'll go back to that. But I'll read this first. Dex, pop in when you can, and feel free to interrupt me. It says the currency that fixes the price will eventually be the renminbi or yuan, stated D last April. D declared that the CV pandemic, an opportunity unseen in 100 years, an opportunity to make all 7 billion people in the world pay for China. It says D, who has contributed to China's foreign economic policy, has regularly been a part of the policy discussions and overseas visits with various bodies of the Chinese regime. It says such as the Foreign Ministry. Last year, a video of his explicitly admitted that the CP influences the U.S. through, quote, old friends on Wall Street. And, of course, a lot of us know that they are ingrained in everything, and there's big money paying off big pockets. D described why China wants to supersede the U.S. dollar. The Epoch Times reports, and it says if the Chinese yuan achieves global hegemony, Beijing will be in a position to print more moolah to dilute the value of yuan held by the world's population, thus transferring wealth to China. Which, in other news, we didn't put this one in here, I don't know if we did. Maybe we did on the web content. But Beijing has surpassed all other cities in wealth. The most billionaires live in Beijing now, where there used to be, New York and some of these other cities around the world. Beijing is now the leader. The most billionaires live in Beijing. I thought that was quite interesting. Dex, are you there? I know that you've had full lines since I said that last one, but
Hey, Adam. Yeah, I'm here. You're talking about the currency stuff?
yes. And how would this even be possible?
Well, I think, they're doing a lot right now as it relates to creating their own digital currency. And obviously, that country had kicked out all other digital currencies in the past. And that was their way of saying, hey, we're not going to allow these people to play here. Instead, what we'll do is we'll make our own so that we can control it and own it and track it, because that just goes hand in foot with everything that they do. Track, right? So how that can be used to manipulate and change and switch away from the U.S. dollar economy, which everything in the world is sort of based on. Even when you look at, at the end of the day, when you're dealing with digital currencies, everybody wants to know what's it worth in USD, right? And just because it's, you may have this coin or that coin, at the end of the day, you want to know what it's worth to you, and what it's worth to you is USD. So. USD meaning US dollar. So it hasn't been proven yet, but as they start to trade more with the yuan and accept that as payment for things like oil, things like other major major payment,
that would be
then that's when it'll change.
Okay, so and imagine if you did anything and you had to transfer it over to yuan before you did it. Because right now, you have to, in some places, transfer it over to the U.S. dollar to even buy things, because nobody will accept, there's places that won't accept yuan, of course, right? That's how we think, but it's actually, or if you're in the UK, you've got pounds, right? But there are places where you have to have a U.S. dollar to buy anything, especially oil or things like this. We have taken out countries for them saying, hey, we'll sell our oil for gold instead of USD. Right? We want a gold-backed currency, right? Boom, you're gone. Oh, you're in a cave. We're going to find you. Oh, you're there. Oh, we've got a rope for you. That kind of thing. So the fact that China is publicly saying that they are going to do this, or they're going to try, that says right there that eventually the U.S. is going to have to go boom, boom with them, because guess what? U.S. doesn't want to let that up unless the U.S. has been taken over from inside or something, and it's already happened. Who knows? Just saying, they wouldn't give that up. They're not going to give up the currency. And, of course, China basically says that they, even their heavenly mandate, Xi Jinping just quoted just a few months ago that they said that their heavenly mandate says that they should be number one in the world. And now he's going to be the president for the rest of his life. He made that change just a couple years ago. And now Russia's Putin just made a change, which I think we brushed that over. But he's going to be the president for another 15 years, which who didn't see that coming? So then you look back about 6 months ago and you're like, why did they change over the entire government then? Do you remember that? Russia at the beginning of the year, I want to say maybe it was in the beginning of 2020, they just basically cleared out their whole government. And then they said, okay, we're going to replace it with new ones. What is going on? Everybody thought that was because he was setting himself up to step down but still be in power. But now he's going to just be in power. So that's a big one. Watchful and alert, thank you. I don't know if that was meant to do that twice. Again, if that was, you can always undo that. And then EMP Shield. Andrew, I hope or assume that's you. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you for supporting. I see you all over to all the channels that you guys work with. I see you support. You guys give back to the community. You actually spend time with our audience. If anybody asks questions, you are absolutely amazing. EMP Shield says, what you are doing is incredibly important. Well, thank you. That is really, that's a lot coming from you guys. I really do appreciate you guys, and thank you. Again, EMP Shield is working with, yeah. So thank you. Terry Dozier, best show ever. Love Adam, Dex, and family. Dazzling Extreme says, Michelle Leach said, people have dreamed of FL underwater or Florida underwater. I've had the same, as well as no power and fire falling. Got me here watching these. Most of my dreams have come true. Scary prep. Be safe, not sorry. Again, I think prepping is a responsible thing. It's not something that is, they made, there's actual operations that have been declassified where back in the 60s and 70s, they made preppers look like they were crazy because it was a part of this whole kind of thing that was going on. After JFK, they came up with the conspiracy theorist. That was created and kind of coined by the CIA. So, they want to discredit people that are kind of questioning any kind of hard narrative. So they'll throw things at you. There is no reason, if the military is preparing, if the government is preparing, and if they're doing all of these proper steps, if they're drilling, if they're doing these things to prepare for a thing, then why in the world would it be crazy for a civilian to do the same thing? Well, it's pretty simple. They want you to depend on them. Well, guess what? When the real events happen, they're nowhere to be found. When Hurricane Katrina hit, a natural disaster, guess where the police were? The police left their stations and they went to save their families. They had mothers and fathers in nursing homes that were flooding. They had to go save their own first. So don't expect somebody to come and save you. You need to go save yourself. Watchful Alert, again, thank you. His story, obviously not a mistake there. His story, God bless all of you. Thank you. And Divine Energy, appreciate you. And his story, thank you. CR, thank you. Cindy Clark, the best way to prep is talk to the old ones. They know the history and the knowledge and survived much. Cindy Clark, you're absolutely right. And especially now, history repeats itself and everybody's forgetting history. Crazy L says, walking out of movie theater with my mom, looked up, saw totally silent gray craft overhead. Never said a word to anyone. 20 years later, I told my mom what I saw. She freaked because she saw it too. That is really, that's fun when you talk to your family and they were there for it. And we've actually had a call like that. How dangerous is India's double mutant flip it over CV? It says, Doc, and I thought we were talking about Brazil last night. Now India's got the mutant Ninja Turtle over there. It says, Dr. Khan examines what we know so far about the new variant. It says, plus the new research on the safety for Vs for pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. It says it is beginning to feel as though not a week can go by without scientists identifying a new variant of the CV. Says each time a new strain is announced, I feel myself becoming increasingly numb to the shock factor that the headline is supposed to trigger. It says, I have written extensively about the variants originating in the United Kingdom, Brazil, South Africa, and New York. This week, it's the turn of India. So again, it says that India's National Center for basically their cat, dog, cat, a division for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, announced that a new variant, dubbed a double mutant, had been identified in samples of saliva taken from people from Maharashtra, Delhi, and Punjab. It says this comes on the back of the month has seen a surge of cases across India with many states reimposing curfews. Seems like there's a pattern all across the world as of these things popping up. And then, of course, once they pop up, it's there's easy grounds for, more restrictions. Pretty crazy things going on all around the planet. So I'll leave that to you. You guys can go over to Marfoogle News to catch that and everything else. Let's go to the next call here. We have Coal Cracker. Thermal cloaking video. Let's see here. I'm going to load this video up. It looks like they have a video and a picture. Okay. And Dex, we can let Coal Cracker in. and then I'll load this up for us.
Hey, Adam, Coalcracker looks like they're online. Coalcracker, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, Coalcracker, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Marf?
Hey, doing good. So,
How you been?
I've been good. What is the video that we're pulling up here?
The video. I basically I was in my vehicle. It was right before lunchtime, and I see just coming through the sky. It was just out of nowhere. It just happened on my phone, and three clouds more or less running close to each other, but there was nothing in front of it, and it was interesting. And I'm like, what's this? It's not two exhausts. It was basically three. So I put the phone up on it and held it on there and shot it, and decided to just I caught something pretty interesting. I downloaded it onto YouTube, and then Dex told me that I got flagged, and I didn't even do nothing wrong. I didn't say anything, any words, or that I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, let's be careful with this one. So that means that they're actually picking up on videos like this? And if you didn't say any words, that's weird. So look at this.
Maybe thermal.
But look, they put this underneath. Let's see. Oh, you know what you did? And by the way, we can't even say this now. Underneath in your description, you put fart, right? But with the word. Yep. You can't say that anymore. Here's the thing: when they say, nope. When they say, so you say the original word, right? Then they add that to it. Well, then just like urban slang, then people say other things. There was a thing. You remember Edge of Wonder? A lot of people are forgetting about them, but they said a Lumadonkey. A Lumadonkey was added on the official list of stuff that's bad. I said it, but again, that was made because it would get past things. Well, guess what? Those bigger creators, once they catch stuff like that, then they add it to it. Everybody calls it that now. So now they have added that to the list. That's why. I mean, guarantee. But that's why they put that tag on your video. And when they put that tag on your video, I'm sure it probably affects your reach. I mean, I've noticed that with our videos. We've gotten it live under our video for talking about them. So I get it. But
wow.
But yeah, so you can't even see the thing that's in front of it though. That's what's weird. It's just there, and it's invisible almost.
Well, the sun was it was actually, the sun was reflecting. So it was coming through, and that cloud behind it, the sun hit it right at the exact time. But if you notice, underneath was that exhaust underneath. You could actually see the way it staggered. So I'm taking it that was the heat, and that's what was using the paint. They have paint that's heat sensitive too, just like the stealths. So that's what I think that third one is on the bottom. That's the actual heat. That's because if you look at it, you pause it, do this. I forget which mark it was. It was probably around a minute two, somewhere around there. Pause it, and you'll see the box. You'll actually see the box around it. It's pretty interesting. As soon as it goes into the cloud and is in the middle of the cloud, so forth, just pause it right around there, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see that outline of the box from that heat signature. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, now I get what you're saying.
It's like pixelated.
Let's see. Well, I have to look at it again, and what we'll do is we'll send the Foogle fam to actually look at it as well. I'll pull up this as well. It looks like we have a Dropbox link, and I'm guessing it's maybe more of a static shot. So let's see here. And what is this? It says thankful, and blessed. What is this?
That's now take notice. He's smiling. Now he doesn't know anything that's coming. He's coming 4/13 on Tuesday, so he's gonna come out into this crazy world, but he's still smiling. He can hear the stuff that's going around. But that's baby Coal Cracker coming in, and believe me, I've been crazy in the head over tough times, but I just wanted Dex to give you that to show, and just because he's smiling, just have everybody just smile. Just be grateful that you're alive. Be grateful, for the show. Be grateful for your mods, you, Marf, Dex, the fam, everybody. Just be grateful. It's smile.
Coal Cracker, congratulations. Is this your first?
Second.
Oh,
I have a daughter.
Then you already know. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And that is such an incredible picture. I've never, out of all 4 kids, I never had a picture that clear of a face like that.
4D.
That is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Coal Cracker. And again, you have a wonderful night, okay?
Yeah. Hey, one more thing. I know you got to get quick here, Mark, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention quick. Do you remember Poland? It back in 2009 when JK was during the Bush administration, one or the other. But Poland was hoping that U.S. would not let it down on the missile defense shield that they were planning to put up. If you want to just look into that, it's something that I was thinking about, and it just dawned upon, just with the at least short and medium range, because Europe was actually from the short and medium range, against which there were already a defense capability that they had, but NATO got involved into it with the short and medium range systems, and it can involve the cooperations with Russia. So if you look at that article, bring it up yourself and take a look at that. It correlates to today, and that's 2009, and it's like that. I keep thinking about that, and I keep thinking about when T-Man was, and he let RUSSI fly over us for 7 days. I keep thinking, why? I know it was because of the treaty, but I don't know.
I get what you're saying. And by the way, that treaty is no longer around. Well, Coal Cracker, we got to get on to Captain Phil, but I appreciate you, and I will look into it. And again, we'll try to attach anything we find on the website too. And we're also going to attach your video, so I hope everybody goes over and checks out Coal Cracker. Thank you, Coal Cracker. I do appreciate you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
All right. You have a good night. If you have information on what Coal Cracker was just talking about at that last second there, let us know. I will look into it. It sounds fascinating. I do know what the flyovers he was talking about. They stopped that. In fact, that was the last time they did the mutual flyover where they allowed Russia, as long as Russia was allowed to basically go over like Area 51 and all these other places, as long as they told us exactly what their route was, they could choose and go over. They couldn't go down on the ground and check things out, but they could fly over very specific areas like Area 51, and they could look at our stuff. In return, we got to do the same. It's kind of like you get to peek at the battlefield, on it playing a Battleship or something, and you get one peek, but it's for a second, and then you're like, oh, where was it? D5? Miss. Sightings in the sky in Pirates Paradise. What is going on from Washington? Let's get Captain Phil on, and then that is wild. Stuckster, thank you. Love the show. Keep doing what you do. And then CP Ann's Town says, love the show. Well, thank you. I believe that's a new name. Thank you so much. I usually recognize new people here. Durango Nibiru, expect many UFO. if past the lights. Kazaz, prayers for our world and much love to all of you. Truth is Out There says it is one big chess game. Checkmate. All right, we have Captain Phil. What is going on?
Hey, Adam. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. So what is going on, and what did you see?
Well, there's 4 sightings I've had. The first one was in 94. Me and a couple of coworkers were in Tracy, California, and just about 4 to 5 telephone poles height above the buildings, it looked like a flame just ripped across the sky for like a quarter mile. And the flame there was nothing to ignite it, no airplane, no helicopter, no fireworks. It's like a gas pocket in the air, just spontaneously ignited, ripped across like a trail, like a rocket's trail, and cut about a quarter mile. And me and a couple of coworkers were just standing around at the gate talking, and all of a sudden all 3 of us just had a feeling to look up, and we saw it just in the nick of time. And the flame rolled through real quick, like you would expect from a rocket, but the smoke cleared almost as quick. But it did clear quite quickly, and we were standing there shaking our heads wondering, what the, And then I had another sighting about a year later in 95, about 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing grave shift, walking security at an apartment complex, Stockton, California, summer 95. I know it was summer because it was hot out at 3 in the morning. And I look up and I see a giant triangle with 3 lights, one on each corner, and a center strobe. And the strobe kept going from white to amber to red to amber. And there was no airplane noise, no helicopter noise. The only noise I could hear, it sounded like the wind in the trees going through the leaves, just wind. And it looked the size of a city block as far as going around. And it was like 2 to 3 stories in height as far as thickness. And I immediately got on the radio, asked my supervisors to call the airport, see if they got anything on radar, asked them to call the Air Force Base in Sacramento, and my boss started thinking I was crazy. And then there was another sighting that Adam and I may have seen at the very same time. And that is when Adam said you looked up and you saw what appeared to be a digital sky. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it too. And if you were seeing it at the same time I did, it would have been directly to your west and north of me. It looked like it would have been over the Kitsap Peninsula.
Oh, because I forget, you are local. You are Washington.
Yes, I'm just south of Olympia. Okay. And then about a week or 2 after you talked about it on the show, I go out back and try to look for it again. And what do I see? It looks like the flame of a rocket going up. I looked as hard as I could. I could not see the rocket. All I could see was the flame, like from a rocket pushing up, like it. And the trajectory it was on was like it was launched off the coast and heading for the North Pole.
Okay, because we did have a couple sightings in Washington's, and they, I don't know if they unclassified one of them, but submarines launched stuff off of our coastline, and a couple of them were spotted. One of them was off of the islands.
I distinctly remember seeing what looked like twin flames, like from a twin jet plane, but I could not see a body like a rocket or a plane attached to it, just the twin jet flames.
Yeah.
Going up. So, well, anyways, those are my 4 sightings.
Well, Captain Phil, I think we have a lot here in Washington. Again, I guess like somebody who lives a place where there's almost no sightings, I guess they wouldn't think it's real. I'm telling you, you move to Washington, you see a lot of it, especially if you're out in the country where there's no light. You see tons of stuff.
Yeah, well, being Washington, we also have a lot of Bigfoot.
Yeah, yep, that's true too. We've got people that come from all over the world to come look here for them. Well, again, thank you, Captain Phil, and I appreciate your call. And if
on the live chat, I keep trying to text you under Pirates Paradise Bar, and I've created 6 Marfoogle bar drinks.
No way.
Yeah. And the 6th
Are you
one,
a bartender?
Well, I built my own bar. It's at my house.
That's hilarious.
$12,000 worth of bar. But the most recent one is the Marfoogle Dex Sidekick. I read him the ingredients, and he said he actually likes it.
Will you send you don't have like a little menu board at your house, do you? Because it would be awesome if you sent a picture of that.
Well, I got a menu board of all my beers and wines that I keep in stock.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, we need to come over to your house, Captain Phil.
Yeah, in the live chat several times I try to invite you down here and see if you want to do a cameo video of you here at the Marfoogle meeting headquarters of Scott Lake.
I would love it. Captain Phil, your house sounds like awesome. It sounds like you have a man cave with an awesome bar. That's what it sounds like. I would love to see it.
But you'll definitely need Mrs. Marf to drive you home.
Okay, all right, that's perfect. Well, hey, Captain Phil, thank you so much, and I might take you up on that offer. I'm telling you. So, well, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. Okay.
All right.
All right. You have a good night. That was Captain Phil. My friend Chad's dad had it was small. It sounds like Captain Phil has a huge bar, but he had a tiki bar in his house, and he made it look legit. Like, you walked in his house, and then he had like part of the house was like a glass roof that went out to like an outside room. It was like something you'd see in Florida, in Washington, with palm trees and a tiki bar. And it was just so cool. It was like you were hanging out at a bar, but you were just at somebody's house, you know? And he had the coolest decorations. They were both from Hawaii. People from Hawaii are just cool in general, but they had, it was like an open bar at a, super fancy, like the kind of open bar you would see at a fancy wedding, only that was their house every day. And that's why I had a problem, because I had friends like that. But yeah, and I'm thankful I don't drink like I used to, man. In your early 20s, it's just so easy to just go to a bar. But once you got kids, that just doesn't happen anymore. I don't think I haven't drank in like 2 years. And before that, it was like another 3 years before that. It's been like once in 5 years or something like that. So again, drink responsibly. All right, well, let's... Dex, I think that is everything for today, is it not?
Yeah, we got all the callers.
All right, well, thank you, my internet brother, and thanks for all the help. If anybody wants to go over to the website, you can see there's internet web-only content, and all of the caller info will be there momentarily. Dex, do you have anything to say before you go?
Oh, no, just getting the callers up, all the callers more information on the website, so everybody can go check that out, and that'll be up shortly, like you just said.
All right. Well, thank you, Dex, and for everyone that has supported tonight. Thank you, and thank you, Dex. Can you read the top 5 over on DLive? In the meantime, in just a second, Anna Trejos, thank you. Adam and Dex, thank you for your hard work and keeping us updated and on the ball. S. Nort says, love these call-in shows. Edward Walker says, really appreciate the hard work you guys do for us. God bless you and yours. Thank you, Edward. That is appreciated. And then Michelle Leach, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Global Witness says, hey, brother, let's chat soon. All support Marf. Thank you, Global Witness. I just mentioned you again, and I made sure to follow you on Twitter, I believe, too. KT Cleans a lot. Love the show. Watchful and alert. And his story. God bless all of you. Divine Energy, I appreciate you. And Open House Texas says central banks are already on board with digital currency. Printing all this money may push us into hyperinflation and tank the dollar. Well, guess who's going to come in and swoop in on that one? Terry Dozier says, best show ever. Love Adam and Dex, fam and family. Thank you, Terry Dozier. I feel like I know that name for some reason, other than you here. Watchful and alert, thank you for your massive support. EMP Shield, thank you for dropping by and supporting. You know you don't have to. Thank you, Andrew. I know that probably comes right out of your pocket, so thank you. I know that's not, you're actually like, yeah, thank you. All right, and Dex, love you. Everybody else, it is now time for the shoutro. Dex, will you exit us out with those top 5?
Absolutely. In the number 5 position, we have Black Labs with that word I can't say after it. Number 4, Jammer 1. Number 3, Zippy Moons. Number 2, The Truth Is Out There. And in the number 1 position is N95 Hero. Thank you all for your support of independent media.
We are truly independent. We do not have a multi-channel network, so thank you so much for your support. It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro.
Got the EMPs shield and watchful alert. Every dozier and the crazy and watchful alert. And the dirty hood. Bad wolf on GG. Like Winton Dupree. And Northern Tea. Northern Tiger. Humble Hatch Maker. Greg Mumbo. Becky D and Amy JoJo. Christian Moore and then Brown and Northern Tiger. And by MF Polar and stuff for Iger. Bring and I go. I'll do a Peter, a Sousa, a short circuit. Short circuit. Scott Dixon in the swamp bar, Keyshawn in the Irene, Gray Bumble in the Darcy, Crazy Yo in the Cindy. Hey, dazzling extremes, I'll never leave. Oh, Terry Dozier, I will always see. Watchful and alert, his story never goes. And a snore, and a tray hose. I know he's looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. Looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. Looking down on me, and everybody knows I gotta go. Let's build a bridge. Let's walk on the bridge and take this every day. I walk and go, never wait the way I say. I know he's looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. Up above, he watches up my every move. I'll never leave. My heart belongs to you. I know he's looking down on me. 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 He's looking. I know he's looking down on me. I know he's looking down on me. Good night, all of you. Andre Farm to Jenny, Texas, and Crapper Toaster. Oh, and the GF Chandler, Leo Rose, and the B-Class Mander. Oh, now everybody wants Tony McDonald in the ice and me now. Everybody goes down, they go down. Gonna bring that king and all of his crowns. Dum 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 dum, dum 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 dum. N95 hero, N95 hero, N95 hero, N95 hero, N95 hero, N95 hero, N95 hero.